Boom. We're back in the house. Got a couple comments going already. Got people up in the room. So, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. It's been a crazy and chaotic day for me, in all honesty. There's some days, where you just do a lot more work than other days. And if anybody's been watching my story, you guys know that I got to the shop today about like 5 minutes to 5 a.m., put my first part of the story down. Some people ask me, is it worth it to come in that early? And about 6 a.m., I just sort of shined my camera around just to show you guys there was like 5 people in my shop. And that was probably around like, I don't know, 6 a.m. or whatever. And then the is it worth it question came by like 8 o'clock. So I had been at work for a couple hours and I was like, well, yeah, I already made some good money when most people were snoozing. So, it's a win-win. So anyways, if you are in a city or a town or somewhere and you don't think people are going to come in, if you decide to come in early, you could be wrong. You might be surprised by how many people like to come right before they go to work. With this mannequin directly behind me like this, it almost looks like I got hair. See that? Imagine if my hair was this luscious. If I just position it perfect. How about right about there? How's it look? Would I look ridiculous with hair? What's up, Dom? What's up, Mama? What's up, Ivy? What's up, Coke Driver? Bald fade with a long top. I see you, man. We're gonna talk about the blend. Probably next week we're gonna start getting into the blend. But before that, tonight, just to give you guys an overview of what we're gonna do, we have this mannequin. Synthetic hair, not so great, but it's gonna be perfect tonight. If you guys were kind of watching and paying attention to what we've been doing, we did a 90-degree cut on this last week, and the week before I believe we did a long layer and a blunt cut. So now it's pretty much at the perfect length for some shear over comb. So we're gonna jump right into that. I do have an update. O-Dog just asked which cordless clipper is the best. No bias. No bias. My favorite right now is definitely the Gamma Ergo. However, I'm having a bit of a revelation. The Alpha is an incredible clipper. And I had to make one small adjustment to it. I put their new Fusion blade on the Alpha, and I'm just like, I'm blown away. I'm blown away by how good the performance is on it. And I gotta say, it's really good. So, anyways, this is going to be your guys' opportunity to ask all the questions you want. I'm going to go through what I got to go through. And I was actually going to do some clipper over comb, but I left my clipper in the shop so that Chad could try it out, because I've been what I do too is, like, a lot of these reviews and stuff, like, I'll give them to my guys in my shop and it's like, yo, work with them a little bit too. I just want to make sure I'm giving everybody the most accurate information I can, because I am sponsored by Gamma. And, I don't want to think that it clouds my judgment or that I would come out here and tell you something is good when it wasn't. But, they send me a lot of this stuff for free. They let me try everything out and stuff like that. And obviously it makes me favor that company. But I would not come out here and recommend anything to you guys still that I wouldn't want to use myself or that I wouldn't support myself. So I just send it around to all my guys, and I'm going to include those guys in my future reviews. Secondly, anybody who wants to come on the show live, I just don't have that much time. Like, I'm so busy with everything else I'm doing in life that I had to have my man Chad. He's become my liaison, and he's going to find us our special guests. So if anybody knows anybody they would like to see come on the show, and if anybody wants to come on the show, talk to my man Chad, and we will see if we can fit you in if we can, and if it falls into the theme of what we're working on and what we're talking about. So he's saying Ergo or Alpha. I would say if you didn't have the money for an Ergo, it'd be very you would not be disappointed with the Alpha at all. So I really feel like you can't go wrong with either. And if you would have asked me before this week, I probably would have said the Ergo hands down, but now I'm sort of on the fence because I've been using the Alpha for a couple days now, and I don't want to put it down. There's something about it that just I don't know. It just comes out easy. And a machine that I feel like it compares well with is the Magic Clip. So today I went back and forth between the Magic Clip and the Alpha, and I'm gonna probably do a full video on that because I feel like it's more than what I want to get into it. What's up, Jamal? Good to see you. Andy, he asked what's the salary of a barber. So let's just do some basic math on the lowest level. Now, if and I just mean like this is very achievable for most people. So let's just say that you are a barber who cuts for $20 a haircut and you do maybe 20 people a day. All right, this is not impossible. This is fairly easy to do. And let's say that you got no tips. So if you take 20 times 20, you got 400. And let's say you work 5 days a week, you got $2,000. Now, you have expenses. If you don't own your shop, you're going to have some expenses. You're going to have to pay 25%. So, or maybe more, whatever, depends on your area. But you might have to pay a commission or you might have to pay a rent. So whatever your commission is, you're going to lose some of that. But it's definitely possible to earn a very comfortable living. So, all right. So, the Heat game's going on tonight. See, and I got you guys in the room. See, I got 43 people who don't care about the Heat. I'm not even really paying any attention to basketball. I never really have. What up, Boom? But I never really have paid that much attention to basketball myself. And I probably should be, but I just haven't. So here I am having a live right during the game, and I still managed to get 43 of you guys. So anyways, all right, Manny, have a good one, man. The Bathroom Barber, I know you love the lives, and I appreciate you for stopping by and saying what's up. So, okay, you guys, let's get down to business now. All right, so Dominic is saying I could never remove the skin line with the 357. Takes me forever. That's why I'm taking 45 minutes a haircut. One of the things is the 357 doesn't zero gap that easily, not without some help. And we went through that when he came in the shop. He brought his 357s in, and I tried to zero gap them, and I had a lot more trouble doing that than I would with a lot of the other clippers. It just seems like there just wasn't enough play, and it could have been just that blade. It could have been just that blade, but I'm telling you guys, if you guys are on the fence between Gamma and Caliber, there's not a whole lot of reasons to go with Caliber in my mind at this moment. It's possible that they might produce something soon, but I would say the Gamma is just so concerned about getting things right. You should see some of the conversations I have with them. Purchased the Prodigy and the Alpha. Thanks for the promo code. It was sweet. I'm definitely thinking of switching to all Gamma, and hopefully they come out with a badass detachable clipper. It's funny that you say that too, because last time I was talking with them, he mentioned Austin mentioned that he was like, so I guess in order for you to go full Gamma, because he knows I use my detachable a lot, he was like, we're gonna have to create a detachable. Now I don't know if he was like subtly hinting at that they are doing that or not, but yeah, it's just and that's it. Jamal is like, I had the same issue when I was zero gap in the 357s as well. Now I'll say the 50 cal zero gap better, but the 357s, it just seemed like they didn't have enough play, and I know there's some ways that I can make that work, but it's just a it's just a little bit of a nightmare. They should have just gave us a little bit more room. It's possible you could probably change the cutting blade. Maybe you might even be able to find one that's a little bit longer, something like that. With Ant the Barber, I was actually, it's funny, Timothy, he's asking what's going on with Ant the Barber. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't reached out to him, but it's funny that you say that, because I was on my way to work this morning and I was thinking about messaging Ant, but it was like 4:30 in the morning, and I'm like, well, he's definitely not going to be awake, but I'm going to reach out to him. I hope I'm not buffering too bad for you guys. It says I had an excellent connection. It still says I have an excellent connection. But okay, I want you guys to feel free to send some cut critiques over to this email here at masterprimetime@gmail.com. I'm going to scope that out towards the end of the show, because what we actually have to do today, I'm going to do some shear over comb examples on this in a minute. I'm going to get started with the show. But it's not going to take me too long, and I would love for you guys to focus your questions around your shear over comb. So I'm going to get into it, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start explaining. Even though I know a lot of you guys know this stuff, a lot of you guys been in here for a while, a lot of you guys understand some of the shear over comb, but I'm gonna go through some of the basics as if you never heard of it. And please, like I said, feel free to ask any questions about it. So let's get started. Okay, first things first, we want to have a shear that's a little bit longer for this. All right. Now there is a difference between left-handed shears and right-handed shears. And before we go any further, also, I just want to thank one of my sponsors, Shear Police. You can kind of see the box right here. And if you use the code Eddie at Shear Police, you'll get a significant discount and you'll get a great shear. This, however, is not a Shear Police because I'm about to cut this synthetic mannequin, and I definitely don't want to be hurting my nice, beautiful shears. So the thing that I'm going to say first is, if I was to do shear over comb with a nice big blade like this versus something smaller, all right, so this is obviously a smaller shear, and and if I do shear over comb with this, which feels terrible, by the way, goodness, but something's happened with this. But anyways, if I do shear over comb with that, you guys can see that I don't even probably have an inch to work with. So let's start with just learning how to hold our shears and understanding that if we're going to use this technique, it makes far more sense to use a larger shear. And on the top of your hair, when you want to have a lot of control over what you're doing, stuff like that, that's when you want a shorter shear. Okay, so let's talk about how we're going to hold this. Ring finger, 2 fingers on the top, thumb is going to go in the hole this time, and you're actually going to keep your pinky on the tang if your shear has one. Okay. Now the other thing that's kind of important with this technique is that I'm only moving my thumb, and I realize this is a little tricky. All right. This can be a little tricky, so just give it a try. Try only moving your thumb. Now, one of the reasons why you're going to only move your thumb is because when you have your shear and you have your comb, you're going to want to keep them parallel to one another, and you're going to want to cut when it comes to the bottom of the shear. Now, a perfect example as to why would be, yeah, this is live. Kosh Tech, yes, this is live, buddy. Okay, so when I do shear over comb, which I'm going to do a nice good example, I'm going to cut this thing up. But when I do shear over comb, any hair that is in the top of this comb obviously is not being held to 90 degrees. So hair that's up here, sort of irrelevant. But the hair that actually falls to the bottom teeth of your shear, now that's actually being held at 90 degrees. And one of the greatest things about this technique is that I don't have to put my fingers in any danger of being cut. So if I was to hold this out, accidentally cut my knuckle. Also, if I was to do like the half of the side or just do the finger and shear method all the way through, it's going to take me a lot more time. I'm going to be able to go through this so much faster if I learn how to do shear over comb, which I do recall and I do want to share with you guys. My teacher, she was telling me I was getting it. She was telling me, you're understanding it, you're getting it, you're doing it. And I was doing this, but man, my brain wasn't making the connection that it was actually happening properly. That I kept telling her, but I don't feel comfortable. I don't know if I'm doing this right. She was like, trust me, you're doing it right. This is going to click. So anyways, fast forward, a while later, practicing, I just all of a sudden got it. It just made total sense to me. So today, I'm going to try to make it make sense to you the best that I can. Andy, I'm going to do the feedback on the cuts at the end of the show. Last 10 minutes of the show, I'll be doing the cut critiques, and we'll give it. Dominic, he's like, if you would give, let me do this here. If you had to give a 1 to 10 on the ergo and a 1 to 10 on the alpha, man, I just don't feel like it's fair to quantify it like that. Let me think about that, and I'll answer towards the end of the show. All right. So as we're going here, we're gonna want to reset the hair. Now this is something that you guys will get, because it's actually really easy to see hair that's uneven, and I can spot it from like literally a mile away. I could spot it from a cut critique. I can see that when you guys are doing shear over comb, there is a trick. If you pull the hair down and reset it, you're probably going to see a weight line. Now, next week, when I bring my clippers this time, we're going to shave off some of this, and I'm going to go into some clipper over comb. We're going to do a flat top, clipper over comb, and we're going to make sure that we got this whole thing figured out. So next week, I plan to do like a flat top, clipper over comb, if Chad doesn't get a guest. If he gets a guest, we'll do it the following week. Then we're going to get into the blend. And I know that you guys are going to enjoy the blend. We're going to spend a lot of time with it. We're going to make sure that we really understand the blend. Because if you guys are new to this channel or new to this live, we are working our way through 6 phases of the blend. I should say of the haircut in total, in its totality. So we are currently still pretty much in phase 2. So anyways, let's talk about a couple other fundamentals here, and then I'm gonna show some examples. I do this live every Saturday at 5 o'clock, and it's gonna stay at 5 o'clock. It used to be 8 o'clock, but unless there's some type of update, that's where we're gonna be. The other thing, what type of comb do we want to use? Sort of depends on the amount of hair that you're doing it to. I might grab a taper comb if I'm working only in the sideburn area or something like that. But for the most part, I like to use a comb that's about this wide because it stops you from like making mistakes. So let's say I'm doing my shear over comb and I'm moving really fast and boop, I wind up behind the comb and I make a chump. Definitely going to cause a line, definitely going to cause a problem. So with a bigger shear like this, with a bigger comb like this, you're preventing yourself from doing that. The other thing that's going to help you stay real accurate is if you're only moving your thumb, then you're actually going to be in good shape because wherever you put the tip of this shear, that's about where it should stay. And that's also going to help you not cutting yourself when you're doing shear over comb also. So we want to make sure that we're holding our comb like this. Now, there's people who do shear over comb like this, right? But the reason why I'm not a big supporter of holding the comb like this is twofold. I don't have very much grip. It could fall out of my hand pretty easy. If I hit a little snag, it's going to fall out of my hand. The other thing is I don't have much range of motion. Look at this. That's pretty much all I got. That's not much gas, right? So I want to hold it on the edge here just like this, and look at what I can do now. Now I can rotate it pretty far, almost an entire 360, which is going to be cool because I'm going to be lifting it up, and I'm going to show you guys also how to use the back of your shear. So a quick shear over comb. Shear over comb and clipper over comb are the exact same thing, almost. I would say clipper over comb is more of a bulk removing process, and shear over comb is more of a refining process. So when you have done your blend and everything is looking really good, but there's some dark spots, shear over comb or texturizing shears over comb, which is a definite thing you should try to apply, is the first thing. So yeah, only moving the thumb. But listen, if you guys are chomping like this, it's going to be really hard for you to stay accurate, and you got a very good chance you're going to cut something you don't mean to cut. So only moving the thumb is definitely a pretty important thing. But don't let that be the end-all be-all. There's a lot of ways to skin this cat, and there's a lot of ways that you can still come up with a good result here. See, so our main things that we understand right now is we're holding the comb properly like this. We're going to be able to roll the comb out towards us. We got our fingers in our shears. And how many people are here with their shear and their comb practicing with this? Because I would really recommend that you pick these up because we're about to go live on this mannequin. And if you guys spent the money on a mannequin, I hope that you're going to be able to kind of follow along and sort of do what I'm doing. Now, there's another main advantage to learning how to do this technique is you're going to be tapering this hair. So as you guys can see, where we left off last week was I did a 90 degree. And if you see that there's actually a big hole right here, that means that I did a 90 degree perfect because that means that all the hair is the same length. But what that also means is this kind of is ugly. So naturally what will occur when you do shear over comb is you're going to wind up starting to taper your haircuts more. And generally as a result, when you go to your state board, you're going to see one of the things they're going to say is that one of the difference between men's haircuts and women's haircuts is men's haircuts are typically tapered. So I would say the Ergo and the Alpha, it's going to be a tough toss up between those two. It really is. But all right, let's get started here. Thank you for the thumb down. Thank you for the 19 thumbs up. At least it's some type of engagement. Lets me know that I'm alive. And I don't got much room up in this thing. I don't got much room in here. So in my little 30-inch closet in a nondescript bunker, I'm going to show you guys how to tangle your microphone in your chair. And then once I'm done perfecting that exercise, all right, we're good. Let me get this out of my way. Someday when the donations start rolling in and all the goodness starts coming, I'm going to have a good and proper studio. But that day is not today. But I feel it coming, guys. I feel the success coming. I hope you feel it too. You guys are here. You guys are learning. And you guys are going to experience it too, I'm sure. All right. One of the first things I might want to do is I want to wet this hair. Now, we all know that this hair sucks and it ain't going to get wet because it's synthetic. And synthetic hair is almost like spraying plastic. And the plastic is just dripping off and not getting wet. But it will help me just a little bit. All right, so let's say a client really walked in like this. And we want to make sure that we begin this properly. One of the things that I would do if I was going to do just a shear cut is I would go around and I would cut the perimeter. Now, with a mannequin, it's the ears don't pull down. So what the technique is called around the ears, does anybody know what the technique is called around the ears? This is for extra credit. I'm just curious, if I was to cut the hair around the ears, what is the technical term for that I'm going to be watching? Thank you guys for the thumbs up. I really appreciate that. Okay, so let's start here in the back. I'm going to cut the outline, and all I really want to do is I just want to cut some of this bulk off of the back and give myself a good starting point, right? So her hairline's all the way up here. I'll just roughly cut what I think would be cool. Now, when you're doing this on a real customer, you can actually do this. You can push the back of the comb up against their neck. You can hold your finger up against their neck. But mainly, you want to be using your mirror just to see how accurate you got it. But cutting the 0 degree across the neck is not too tough. And it might take you a little bit to get it right. But now that you guys could see, all I did was begin this part. Now, I want to begin tapering that. Arching. Good, Steve. Nice. I didn't expect you to come up with that quick. That was good. Yes. There are multiple ways to arch. In the book, it also says that you can arch with shears. You can arch with a trimmer, which is what you should arch with sometimes. And you can also arch with clippers. Let me switch to a comb that's white so you can actually see the motion. Okay. So now I'm going to get into my first section. And I'm sort of like paying attention to kind of like right here. I've almost painted myself a section. It'll be about this wide. And maybe if I stand sort of diagonal to you, it'll be about this wide. That's going to be the width of my section. And I'm going to roll this comb out, and I'm going to determine my very first cut. Now, one thing that I see a lot of people do, I see a lot of people move really fast because they see people who are good at doing shear over comb, and those people are moving fast. So they think, rule 1, got to move fast. That's not true. All right, if you guys see me holding it a little bit funny, it's because I don't want to block my camera. So I'm going to roll this comb out towards me. I'm going to determine that I want to take about this much off. Everybody's cool with that? So the first cut, cutting it right off. Okay. Now, as you can see, let's look at it from the side now. You guys could see that this is the one little spot that I took off. Now, that's going to guide me, right? So watch the technique. It's getting a little bit dry, so I'm going to comb it down. And then I'm going to be able to match everything to this length. Okay, so just beside that length, let me go through and let me do this section. I'm going to comb it down. I'm going to chop, hold the back with my shear. Chop, hold the back with my shear. Chop, hold the back with my shear. And I'm watching my guidelines sort of fall out, but then again, I'm sort of not. So I just ran up this whole section. I'm going to double check it. Hold the back with my shear. If you guys could see this move, bam, I'm holding this section. When I run out, I hold the section, and I move it up. All right, you guys want to see? You guys want to see how accurate I am? Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate you. And let's hit that DJ horn. Greetings from Greece. I love your videos. You're great at explaining them. Damn good. I started barbering school last month. Congratulations, my friend. I'm wishing you luck. All right. So now I've done this little section that I told you guys about, and this is when it's going to get super easy. I can actually check this section. Let's see how good your boy is. Look at that. Look at that. I realize this is hard to see, and I realize that like these cameras are not perfectly ideal, but this section is even, okay? And it's shorter than obviously the sections are beside it. But if I've performed this first panel, that's how we'll look at it. If I've performed this first panel accurately, now when I move over to the side of this panel, you guys are going to see how much easier this is going to get. It really doesn't get much easier once you've got a good section. See my guide right here? I can't cut it because it's falling out of the comb. As soon as it falls out of the comb, I'll begin lifting and cutting. Lifting and cutting. Now I'm just viewing my guide. It's right back here where I left it. And I'm holding my section so I know exactly where I'm at. And I'm sliding my comb in underneath again. All the way till I get to the top. Reset the section. When I reset the section, I can see there's some long hair right down here. Now this takes you time. This takes you time to practice. This takes you time. Okay? Twist around so the backdrop is the white wall. That might not be a bad idea. Let's give it a try. Maybe if I try this camera real quick. Switch to it. Bear with me, guys. Alright. Let's see if this is any better. Let's see. You guys feel like you can see that a little better? Can I do it in reverse? Let's see. No, I definitely can't do this in reverse. Alright, so if that is like that, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Amanda Sanchez. Pair character lifting some weights and saying keep it up. Thank you. Okay, so let's stand over here. This might work a little better. Okay, we got a white background now. Is that a little bit better, guys? Let's see. All right, so here I am lifting my section where I have my guide, and here's the section that I'm cutting. I actually do think that's better. Section with the guide and the section that I'm cutting. So now that I have that good accurate section with the guide, I know I can cut, hold it, cut, hold it, cut, hold it. You guys realize that once you master this technique, you're going to be able to knock these haircuts out very quickly. A 90 degree, no more finger and shear, no more cutting your fingers, no more wasting time. You're going to be able to fly through this haircut. So at a certain point, it sort of becomes more like sculpting almost. But it's not it's not that hard to see on regular normal human hair. When you make these cuts, you're going to be able to see any little mistakes. Like I can see that I got a few long hairs over here. I realize it'd be almost impossible to see this if you were not right next to me. It'd be a little bit easier if you were able to see it if we were next to each other. But it is easy to see once you get used to it. All right, so now, oh, you say I'm getting swole. We over here getting swole. You know, I'll be lifting them weights. Hey, you guys see my stories, man. On my stories, I try to show you guys I'm in the gym almost every day because, I want to be able to last in this business. I don't want to, I don't want my health to falter where I won't be able to get up and do this anymore. I've seen a lot of barbers, stylists too, have shoulder problems. My whole family did hair. I seen some of that, so I just try to take care of myself too, All right, so I'm actually going to transfer this panel around to this right side. There we go. Hey, Tank Be Chopping. Hey, what up, man? Just so you guys know, Tank Be Chopping got a great YouTube channel too. When you guys get a chance, go ahead and subscribe to my man. All right, so cut, hold. That's it. And let's see if I was to, you guys see how nice and accurate that is too, right? You can see that silhouette. Now, you guys can see if you have anything, kind of wrong, you can kind of hold it out even vertically. But generally speaking, most of the time, you'll be holding it horizontally. So as I get around to this side, you guys could see it really couldn't be any easier to follow this around this side here, right? You see my guide? I've just transferred it from the middle outwards, and I'm coming through. So here we go, guys. We're going to just chop this last little bit off. And, you know, I've actually timed myself doing these scissor trims. This is a cut that might give some barbers fits. I've timed myself doing these scissor trims, and when I was at Supercuts and Great Clips, I was able to knock these out. I was able to knock out these scissor trims in like 5 minutes or less. Like most of the time, these were the fastest and easiest cuts, and I know that a lot of barbers, you know, lose sleep over these cuts. They get a little nervous when they see somebody walk in who doesn't want a clipper cut. A lot of you guys are beginning to master your clipper cuts and still struggling with the shears, and maybe you weren't, you know, maybe you weren't giving yourself enough opportunities. But you know what's great about that is there's really no excuse for this, because you can get a mannequin like me. You know, you don't need to have the customers all the time. Oh, this is a little bit weird. Hang on, let me get this straight. Sorry. That's a little better. I can't stand when the camera's crooked. It does bother me. I'm not gonna lie. All right. So we just transferred the guide around this side. So this is what we're doing here. I'm going to comb this down. I'm looking for mistakes, and I'm looking to comb it down to reset it, lift it back up, and see now what's cool is because the whole thing sort of became a guide. So now I can just sort of shape it into how I want. If I wanted to taper this a little bit more, which I clearly do because I don't want to leave anybody with this weirdness that's going on. And one of the reasons why it's liking this is because it's actually following the same shape as the hairline. So obviously the hair is attached higher above the ear and lower on the nape, higher on the sideburn. So when you comb this all down, this is exactly what you should see. You should see a hole cut here. And I realize my view of this, here we go. This is the view I'm trying to show you. You should see a little cut here because that means all the hair is cut the same length. And in the 90-degree haircut, all the hair is the same length. So all we're going to do now is I'm going to taper this in a little bit, just like I would actually do this on a real client. Now, this isn't real hair, but all I have to do on a real client is I just slide this into their sideburns, tip it out slightly, and I don't even need to move this comb yet, right? My first cut, I just want to kind of establish a guide, and now I'm going to begin tapering, lifting, and sort of just blending it into what I have. And I'm seeing how it's coming, I'm seeing how it's shaping, and I'm just shaping it in a little bit. And men's haircuts are definitely more tapered, so I'm going to taper the back a little bit too. I'm going to come around, and what's going to result here is kind of nice because now I've got all my hair even, and I'm blending in the bottom, and I'm just tapering it in nice. Now, I want to save a little bit of hair to do some clipper over comb with next week because as you guys could see, Edward Scissorhands is a chopping away over here, and before long, we ain't going to have a whole lot. We've gone back to the unit view. All right. Yeah, Lewis the Barber, I would definitely, I'm definitely thinking about that. Me and Chad were thinking about maybe one of these days I would do the live at my shop. And if I did my live at my shop, I'd have to bring a whole lot of stuff to get it done. I got a couple cameras, couple laptops, couple things going. But it's definitely something I'm looking into and I do want to do. All right, so once again, let's try to get this thing as wet as we can. And just to clear up any misconceptions about cutting hair wet versus cutting hair dry, I generally would say usually I like to cut it wet and I like to check it dry because when the hair is dry, it's going to show everything. Okay? So here we go. I'm just going to pick up my guide right from the back. I'm going to connect it over to the sides and I'm going to lift, hold. Lift, hold. Now I could see I got longer hair all the way up here, but I don't care about that. My job right now is to connect my back panel to my side. So comb it down to reset it, lift it up, hold it, lift it up, hold it, comb it down to reset it. You know what's funny about this technique is the better you get at doing this technique, the more likely you're going to get some hair in your eyes when your shear goes dull. It actually happened to me today. I was doing some shear over comb, bam, a big piece of hair just got stuck in my eye. It was terrible. But that's how you know you're doing it right. My eyes were in there. I was trying to watch what I was doing. But now I'm transferring this around to the side. Side panels around. This is really dull in these shears too. Like I can tell like 9 of these chops when I chop it. It's not happening. But I'll tell you this, though. These are not my Shear Police shears. These are like an old junk pair. If this ever happens to your shears, be careful. The little bumper plate here is gone. It's gone and broke a little bit, and that means that the sharp edge actually pokes out on the top and on the bottom of my shear, which means that if I go to cut it, if I go to wipe my fingers off, it's very easy to cut your fingers. I actually cut myself really bad one day going like that. So I would recommend, if you're going to wipe off your shears, to do it with a rag. So, all right, I got that looking good. Now let's transfer this guide all the way over to the side here. And we know we're going to taper that, so it doesn't even have to be all that perfect. Let's see if I can get us back towards the white. About right here, it'd actually be easier for you guys to see. But one of the advantages you definitely have with the longer shears is it's super, super easy to be accurate. And after you've gotten most of the hair whipped into the shape, whipped into the length that you want to see, you're going to see exactly what's not right and what is, because all of the hair sort of becomes a guide. So once all of the hair kind of becomes a guide, it gets really easy to just kind of find those pieces that are not right and even them up. All right. So at the bottom here, I'm going to begin this tapering. I'm just going to slide this in all the way, chop away at that, and I'm going to cut and begin lifting. Now, you guys see my shears are moving kind of quick, right? But if you notice, I'm gradually dragging this up. Just gradually dragging this up. And once I get to the top, using my pinky also to keep myself away from the head a little bit further. The pinky is actually a really useful technique. Using my pinky, or like, this is one of the things that I'm not even talking about. It's just one of these things that I've been doing for so long that I don't even really realize I do. But using the pinky, using the knuckle, using something to brace myself to kind of help me maintain that length all the way around, it's always helpful. It's always helpful. So towards the bottom, we're going to taper that in also. And I'm liking what I'm seeing, guys. Now, of course, I could perform this entire haircut easily with some clipper overcomb, but I need to save a little bit of hair. Let's taper in this back section. I want to save a little bit of hair though for the clipper overcomb too. So I'm trying to push her down, but she ain't going for that. She ain't going for that. Let's see if I can get her. Bam. All right, got her down a little bit. Okay, so last little bit, I'm going to taper off this little Joe Dirte mullet business. No offense to anybody wearing one. Actually, they're making quite a comeback. I think they're kind of cool. But we're tapering this down, and that's looking a little bit better. Now I could redo my zero, my perimeter length, and you guys get the point. You guys get the point. So let's see. If I put her this way, and overall, pretty happy with it. All right. So let's go with some questions. Let's see if you guys got anything that I didn't cover. Definitely anchoring, definitely shaping. Now, the one thing that I didn't cover is what to do when we get to the top. Now, as you guys can see, a lot of the hair on this top is just sticking straight out. So this is actually a good example of something to do. Now let's say that I just wanted to blend in what I did to the sides to the top. Notice I'm going to wet this hair. I'm going to try to pull this down. And I'm looking for stuff like this. I don't know if you guys could see, but there is a bit of a shelf right here. All right? So that's exactly what I'm going to knock out. And that's when this technique really, really comes in handy. It just becomes super easy to both identify these little mistakes and to cut and just travel up the head. Cut, travel up the head. Now, if you see some weird stuff like this going on, comb it into the pattern that it wants to lay down in, and then lift it up back against the grain. And, this is definitely an area you want to be careful in, because Some clients wear bangs, right? And if the client's wearing bangs and you hold this up and you chop it, you're going to cut the bangs right off. So we definitely don't want to do that. But as you can see, now that I'm combing this down, you guys can see this looks really clean. You know, right in here, it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's going down, going good. At least a 7-inch shear, cold steel truth. At least a 7-inch shear, 7.5 inch, anything like along those lines, be perfect. And you know, if you do pick one a little bit longer, if you got bigger hands, you can. But 7 inches is a very, I would say it's on the smaller end, and it's very appropriate for this technique. Now, let me show you guys something too before I finish off this side. I'm gonna switch over to a smaller shear. This is my Shear Police 5-inch shear, and I'll just show you how much more work it is if you do this with a small shear. I mean, God, this shear cuts so much better than that one was. So maybe it's actually less work. But as you can see, I can barely handle any hair. Like it's like compared to what I was able to do with the large shear versus the small shear. It doesn't mean that you can't use this technique. You certainly could. But it's just, who are you trying to scare? Who are you trying to scare with that? You'd be much better off going in there with your nice shear, something, you know, 7, 8 inch, something in that range, and comb the hair the way it lays, and let's lift it up against the grain. So we just want to make sure that we're blending it in nice to the top, lift it up against the grain, reset the hair, combing it in the pattern in which it lays. Of course, you can arch around the ears. You guys know what that would look like. But this is pretty much it. The hair's tapered, looks pretty good. I didn't go arching around the ears or doing any of that. I want to save some hair for the clipper over comb, but that's not all that bad considering that like 2 weeks ago the hair was super long. I got hair all over me. So give me a second to clean up, and let's check out some of your questions as I clean off. You guys don't know the mess this makes. I don't know if you guys watch my my little stories at the end. Sometimes I'll show, yo, I'm taking these socks off. Done. All right, so hopefully my cleanup is not too bad. I got a little mat down here trying to keep it from making too much of a mess. Okay. Now, that was literally a lot of haircuts I've done today, and one on a mannequin. Ooh, that is an ugly camera. Okay, bam, better. A lot of mannequins, well, not mannequins, but I have cut a lot of mannequins in my life. So if anybody, you know, feels like they need to practice, do not be afraid to jump on by a mannequin and definitely get your practice in. Okay, let's get to some of these questions. Lou the Barber, how long should someone generally take to use this? Oh, thank you, Matt. I really appreciate that. What he wrote, some ends for your next mannequin head. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Okay. How long should someone usually take for a haircut like this? And look, if you're new and it takes you 20 minutes, fine. That's fine. No, there's no race here. And as long as you're not going something beyond like 30 minutes or something like that, that's crazy. But doing something like this, definitely, once you master it, 5 to 10 minutes. You know, 5 to 10 minutes, it'd be about the most. Oh, blowout video on the way. What up, James? Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for tuning in. But a good budget shear, I mean, really, look, if you are just starting out and you don't have many clients or anything like that, you can go to Sally's, you can go to your local beauty supply. You guys can get yourself, you know, just a pair of shears to get started with. And as long as they're sharp, that's a fine shear to get started with. Don't worry about having something like high end. But like if you're in this business and you're starting to take it more serious, then you will definitely benefit from having a better shear. And in that case, I would point you to one of my sponsors, Shear Police Shears. They're fantastic shears, and they stand behind their products, and you'll like them. They got a lot of different kinds. I'm sure they'll have something good for you. Now, Cold Steel Truth, this is exactly what this is used for. Will this work on super fine elderly hair, a full head of hair, a gentleman's cuts? This is the gentleman's cut doer. This is how you get things done really quick. I actually had a client today that I did an overhaul on. Hold up. I want to show you guys. I want to show you guys this. Let me see if the video is up on my phone. Cause you guys are gonna laugh. This kid's hair was something else. All right, let's see here. View, library, where are we at? I want you guys to see this. Oh, there we go. Boom. Oh man, you guys are not ready for this. Are you ready for this? Oh, it's not gonna let me do it like that. Give me a second. I got a good before and after here, guys. Good before and after. Okay, Pascal, do you know what shears from the brand Olivia Garden? No, I don't know. Steve says, I know Shear Police shears are the bomb. He's got a pair. Thanks for doing this, man. I just started wanting to get into this business a few months ago. I've learned a ton from watching your vids. Much love. I appreciate you, Slade. Thank you so much for tuning in and supporting him as well. Okay, here we go. Here's the video. Boom. All right, y'all. I didn't realize it was muted. This was the finished result. All right. This was a client of mine. He was with me a long time ago. And where are we at here? Why can't I find myself? Hang on. What is going on here? How do I? Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that was a client of mine from a long time ago. He moved and came back, and that's what he walked in with. Oh my goodness, it was ridiculous. All right, so how do you deal with bald spots on older clients? That's a good question. You know, obviously it's a case by case basis, but basically, if you can leave the hair long in certain spots to cover some of the bald spots where it doesn't look like forced or unnatural, I always think that's a good way to go. And, you know, if your clients are going to go bald, sometimes there's not much you can do. So not everybody's going to make the glamour rolls. But, you know, if there's not much you can do, you just try to do the best you can. But definitely, you know, trying to recommend a style that will help cover it and potentially even a product that will help that. So once you get good, it will not take you as long to cut no one's hair. He's right. Jay Beats and Waves is absolutely right. Did my first skin fade yesterday. I studied your videos for a solid week. You make it easier for me to approach. Thank you. Thank you, Tony B. I appreciate that. Yeah, that was literally, I wish I would have filmed it. I'm so mad at myself for not bringing the camera. And what's worse, if I would have filmed it, I probably would have been late for the live. I literally put my clipper down. I did that with the Alpha, by the way. I literally put that clipper down, ran out the door. It was like 4:10. I got all the way in my house. I did show prep for like 2 minutes, ate, and that was my breakfast. And bam, I hit go. So that was the craziness of my day. So all right, Dominic, I know you're wondering. Yes, Ty God the Alchemist. Yes, that was a 90-degree haircut that we cut the last week. We showed how to do a finger and shear method where we didn't do any shear over comb. And today we were just doing the back and sides to just show you guys how easily you can address the back and sides. And it's really such an advantage. You know how many clients I have that are like, I don't like no clippers. Please don't use the clippers on my hair. Every time they use the clippers on my hair, it just gets all messed up. I hate it. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, really, it doesn't matter to me. I can give you the exact same haircut, albeit a tiny bit softer with shears as I can with the clippers. So I know that I'm actually probably going to be faster with my shears than I am with my clippers sometimes. So it's just an awesome technique to master and to go for. Yeah, people dislike people are haters. They do that. They do that. All right. So Jonathan wants me to pick between the Ergas and the Alpha, and there's definitely something to be said about the smooth and forgiving. All right, so I'll say this. The Ergos are very smooth and very forgiving. So for the end of your haircut, when you don't want to make mistakes, when you're trying to be more careful, definitely, I would say the Ergo might give you a little bit more of an advantage. Now, for the low-down torque, when you need to get through a lot more hair, the Alpha might give you an advantage. I meant to say Ergo the first and Alpha the second. Not sure what I did. But I'm just saying for a finishing tool, Ergo would probably be a little bit better, a little bit more forgiving, and Alpha. And don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean you can't do a great work with the Alpha. So if I had to give them both numeric values, it would just be pointless. I think it would be just too hard to say like I would give this clipper, because they're both solid clippers. And when you put that Fusion on there, there's not a whole lot that you could stack up against it that would make it, great. We got two Hurricanes kind of heading towards us. I don't know if they're Hurricanes. We're not even like paying any attention to them. But it looks like that they said they were going to miss us. Let's see. Really, the Barber? I definitely feel you on that. I cut bulk with my 76ers or Magic Clips. Everything else with the 50s or Masters. All right, cool. That's where I'm at with it too. Like, I don't really debulk with either of these machines. I just basically, I try to do my best to use my debulking clippers when they make sense to. And the one thing I can say, absolutely, you can annihilate a skin line with either the Alphas or the Ergos. You will not struggle. It's nothing like the 357 Magnums where you'll struggle with zero gapping or anything like that. You'll definitely be able to take that out. R.I.P. Eddie. Why? What's going to happen to me? He wrote. I'll tell you what. I lopped my hair off yesterday with the Ergo, and it cut like a hot knife through butter. Oh, that's good. All right, you guys. It's getting kind of late. We got 8 minutes left. Let's go to the critiques. Let's see what if any of you guys sent me some stuff to critique. Oh, we got a whole bunch in here. Okay. All right. I promise you guys, everybody who sent me this email, I got about 8 of them. These ones I'm going to do. All right. So let's start with Boom, Southern Made. And let's do it. All right. We got 2 pictures. Bam. That's a side view. And this other picture right here. Boom. The right side view. Okay. So we got a little design going. All right. I wish I could see more of the fade because it looks like your transition from skin into about a number 1 open, potentially a little bit longer. I actually would say on this left side of the picture, let me get rid of this one. On this left side of the picture, there's actually a little bit of hair just underneath where you did the design that you probably could go back and just clean that up just a little bit. And I would also probably thicken up this bottom line. I don't know why, but I'd say just go ahead and thicken up this bottom line. But all in all, not a bad cut and not easy to see much more, but potentially some shear over comb to blend in some of these longer lengths might lay this down a little bit better. But like I said, it's not a bad haircut. It's not a bad haircut. I think it's pretty close to being smooth. All right, we got Andy. Andy, we got a taper going. All right, cool. Let's see what we got. All right, let's get rid of that was Booms, and I can't make this any bigger. Let me see if I got a bigger one. All right. I'm able to see this a little better than you guys because on my computer it allows me to blow this up a little bit more, I think. But I definitely think we have a line here, and we got a little bit of weight. Okay, so first things first, I will say with this kid's hair, his occipital bone, it protrudes pretty good. Now what that means is that there's not anything wrong with it. What that means is that you want to try to do your blend probably a little bit lower in this case. So I see where you put your initial line, and I think somehow you wound up a little bit higher than your initial line. So my thoughts on this would be to use the rainbow taper method that we talked about when we put in the line. We put it in with the rainbow shape, and that'll give you a little bit more hair on the sides for when you do your edge up. And let's try to bring the whole process down a little bit. And again, let's step through our stops, our spots, steps. But let's see on the side here, because we got more cuts here we got more to see about this. This is the same cut, and I don't think he did an edge up in the front, but this side's not bad. This side's not too bad. Definitely could do on the top near the parietal ridge here. There's like, my eye is immediately drawn to that, and if that was not there, I would probably say just above the top of the ear, I see that as well. So if you take your, I would say 1 1/2 open, 1 1/2 closed, 1 open, 1 closed, I'm sure that would come out. So this is actually pretty close to good on the side here. You were just like 2 steps away from nailing it. So thank you for sending that in, Andy. And, you know, a lot of you guys, I've been seeing your work so many times that I'm seeing you guys improve, you know, over the time we've done this. This is like my 20th live that we did this way, by the way, guys. So we're pounding the pavement here. We're getting it done. All right, so we got this one from Jamal Key, and I want to see more. Let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys what. I know this hair. I never cut this kid's hair specifically, but I know this hair, and this hair can be a real challenge because it's real fine. It's also very curly. This hair is going to show every mistake. So one thing I would say is I like the fact that you kept it a little bit low and gave yourself some room to work those kinks out. 2, I would say down fading this hair would be a help. So for instance, if you started with like a 4 or a 3 in this parietal ridge and you started working your way down, I would still set my guideline the same, everything like that, but start working your way down and you're going to get a nice smooth blend. But as far as this cut goes, I would say a little bit of shear over comb and texturizing shear over comb definitely probably could have smoothed that out just a tiny bit. But all in all, from this side, pretty good cut. Let's see if we can find area on the right side of the haircut. So that's cool that he sent all this, you know. And by the way, guys, you know, we're out here to get better. We're not out here to beat each other up or anything like that. This right here is about everybody just trying to improve, okay? So again, on the same thing here, this spot right above the top of the ear is problematic. It always is on everybody's hair. It's not just this young man's hair, which I already told you guys, this is tough. But I could see a 1 1/2 open, 1 1/2 closed on a slight angle going against the grain probably would have reduced the weight in that little area, and it'd have been perfect. And let's look at the back. And in the back, we have, oops. Yeah, in the back, I'm not able to really see that well what's going on. It appears to be pretty smooth towards the bottom, but then again, there could be some weight. I think I'm looking at somewhat of a sunscreen. Potentially, he might need to get some sun on his neck or something like that. But it does look like there's a little bit of weight there. So it probably a 1 open, 1 closed, half open, half closed. Probably could have smoothed that out. But I don't see any lines in the skin area. So all in all, I would say that's all right. You know, that's all right. You're getting there. And Jamal, I've seen your cuts before, and I could say that they're definitely making some improvements. Steve sends me the whole package. This is Steve. He's the operator of Eddie's Army, and you know he's been pretty helpful in helping me get the word out about the channel, and I think he's probably responsible for as many people that have been in the room all day as they have been. And Steve, is this in the new studio? I see the wall in the back, man. It looks good in here. You got good light. This cut's solid, man. This cut is solid. I'm happy with it, man. I can't see like that great. I'd like maybe like a closer up view. But all in all, this guy looks happy with his haircut too. Like when you got a client who's smiling and he's happy, that's a win-win. But it looks like you did about a 2 on the back and sides, shear on top, little messy cut. I'm proud of you, buddy. Your cuts are definitely improving. And I don't have any negative really to say about it, man. And plus, that client's got really straight hair, and his hair will pick up lines super easy, super easy. All right, Michael Rodriguez. Next one down the list. Michael, this is a nice blend, man. Oh, it got real small. Sorry. Michael, this is a nice blend. Let me see if I can get this any bigger. Can't. That's as big as it could be. But on my computer, it's a little bigger. And I tell you, Michael, you're looking good, buddy. Your cuts are good. And I don't really see a whole lot of room for improvement for you, man. Which is a good thing. I'm really liking this blend. I think it looks super smooth. And, you know, keep doing your thing, man. Keep doing your thing. Amanda Sanchez. or no, I'm sorry. Armando. I only half read that. Sorry. Armando Sanchez. And he says, be brutal, bro. All right, I'm not going to be brutal, but there's definitely some work to be done here. There's some work to be done here for sure. Now, it's funny because the skin area and the skin line you seem to have had no problem with. I think the problems began for you when you were working with your half guard and your one guard. So what I would tell you to do is to really take your steps. Take your steps and make sure that you space them out a little bit more, because your steps are like, I think that you wound up switching guards too quick, and that's why you got such a compressed fade. There is a type of haircut where people will compress their fade like this, and you know, it's really, really hard to do to get it even all the way around the head. It's just such a nightmare. So I would definitely just go ahead and make sure that you smooth them steps out. So like for instance, 1 1/2 open, 1 1/2 closed. Giving myself a good like fingers width in between each one at least. That's definitely going to help spread your blend out a little bit, and it'll definitely even that out a little bit for you. Okay, let's go to some of the last few that came in. Wow, how on earth did you manage to send this? All right, we're gonna go, Joey. Joey, we're gonna see if this allows me to put these in here. Oh, I can't. Oh, that's a pretty good cut. That's a pretty good cut. Hang on. I'm gonna I guess I gotta download these. Oh, there we go. Alright. That's what I'm gonna do. He sent a couple videos. I'm gonna pick like 2 to download. All right, you know, I got it. I gotta definitely show you guys at least one of his. I can't download all of them. I'm sorry, because it's just too much extra work. I want to just get to a handful of other ones. So all right, this was one from Joey. Yeah, it looks like he might need to get a little bit more cut on top. So, all right, I got time for maybe 2 more. 2 more. Let's go with Luis Zamora. I am the Prince of Zamunda. Now I think it's Zamora Zamunda. Okay, so we got really good clean. I could tell he worked hard on this too, because I could see that the area where the bald to open taper, that area is done really well. So your skin trimmer to open taper area definitely done really well. And I would just say probably might have went just a tiny bit high with the 1 1/2 open, 1 1/2 closed, possibly. But being that you went this high, whether you wanted to or not, we could definitely take like a 2 open, and probably travel right along the backside, this back area of the crown, and I think that would have cleaned that up. But this is a good haircut, and you guys, most of the haircuts that you guys have sent in are good and clean, and I'm just doing my best to try to help you improve, try to find little spots. So would this be a bad haircut? No. Have I done haircuts just like this? Absolutely. So like I said, I'm just saying, I'm only here to try to help you guys. And thank you guys so much for the thumbs up. And for the people who gave me the thumbs down, that's still engagement. So I'm cool with that too. One of my customers just sent me, "Thank you, my brother. You always make this old man look good." I mean that with the 100. I love you too, Mark. You the man. All right. Let's do this last one, you guys. Okay, we got this gentleman here, and the beard, I probably would say let's blend this beard in just a little bit more. Let's blend this beard in just a tiny bit more, and let's take the top down with shears just a tiny bit more, because I feel like these curls in the back part of his head would have laid a little bit better. But yeah, just blending in that, and don't think I didn't notice his eyebrows could be trimmed just a tiny bit more. And that's just me. I'm just nitpicking. And then in the back of the area around the ear, really try to hold that clipper flat and cut that hair, because it looks like there could be a little bit of hair left a little bit longer, just around the edges here. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying that this is a bad haircut. It's not too bad. And it looks like you're doing this in a tire shop. Is that what's going on here? Is this a tire shop? Taper looks clean though. Taper looks clean, but again, I still see those hairs on the top of the left side of the ear. Now you see, this is actually a good teachable moment, because this is Matt. When you go around the top of this ear, all right, I want you to remember what you did in the back with your taper. Just taper that slightly around the ear the same way. You don't have to go as far down, but just slightly around the ear, and it would have looked a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, other than that, this cut's not bad. This cut's not bad. Okay, and the back side of the taper. Now we get the full story. The back side of the taper, I think just a tiny bit of just being a tiny bit more careful. This would have been perfect, but one open, one closed would smooth out this little bit of area. But that's the one thing that's kind of challenging. I'm trying to do this video. I'm calling it 10 tapers. I got four tapers filmed so far for it. Once I have all 10, I'm gonna release the video to talk about the ins and outs, because basically when it comes to tapers, you are stuck between skin and the occipital bone most of the time, and you got to get it done before you get to the occipital bone, or if you do a high taper, maybe you could do it above the occipital bone. But generally speaking, that's the challenge. So the challenge is to try to get it done before you go too high, and sometimes if you go too high, there's not a whole lot you can do to bring it back down. So, that was Joe's cut, the one that I put the video up. He said he's only been cutting hair since quarantine. So I gotta give you some credit, man. That's not all that bad at all. Wow, this is cool. Nice picture. I'm definitely gonna share this. I can't say the name because it's not English, the writing. But he wrote, "Hi, I just want to let you know that your videos have been very helpful. I've learned a lot from you. I've been cutting hair close to 4 months now. This is my IG. I would love you to check it out at Tal Cohen Barber." So you're telling me that you've only been cutting hair for 4 months, and you're already doing stuff like that, dude? This blend is blurry. This blend is blurry. For if that's the case, I'm very impressed by this. This is really cool, and it's really cool of you to share this with me. And he even sent the video too to back it up. This is a clean cut. This is a clean cut, and I'm telling you guys, I'm watching the video now. I'm not going to download it and show it, but it's just as blurry as what you guys see here. It's just as blurry. So what'd you do on top? About a number 2, maybe a 3, 2.5, 3, something like that. Just curious. But that's a really good cut. Yeah, Matt, you're welcome. You're welcome, dude. Like I said, just up and around those ears. The same thing you did in the back. Do it slightly to the sides now. And just so you guys all know this too, you don't have to you don't have to go crazy around the ears, but you can almost 9 times out of 10 take it a little bit shorter. So for instance, if you did a 2 on the back and sides, maybe do a 1.5 or a 1, something like that. Okay, one last one, one last one, and I'm out. All right, we got. Yeah, Ray. I don't know, man. You sent something with a thing that says this communications, any documents is attached to a something communication order. It's illegal to share or privilege. I'm not gonna open that one, man. That's scary when you send it with all that. So he did do a 2.5. Ray, send it from another email, and I'll put it up. But one more. I see what's going on here. All right, I'm gonna put one last one up from Louis Amunda, and we're good to go, guys. Let me see here. Save the download folder. Bam. And this one's got some music on it, so let's see if. Open, one and one half closed, one open, one closed, and I'm sure that would have taken it down a little bit. So yeah, so like I said, Ray, I'm sorry, man. I was a little bit. I believe you. I believe you. It looked good. So that's about it, you guys. We're over the show limit. It's the fastest hour in media. Not really. I'm just joking, but it did go by pretty fast today. It went by pretty fast today. I had a lot of fun. I really appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I hope that I can answer more of your questions next week. Again, tune in next Saturday live at 5 p.m. and we will be pounding the pavement and continuing to learn literally everything I can think of. And if Chad comes up with a guest, we might have a guest next week. I'll let you know with a thumbnail later in the week. And I'm going to try to get you guys to upload by Thursday. I got a full walkthrough coming. And just show you real quick. Bam. This is the haircut. And this is every step, all 6 phases. And I explain it as I go. So I did the voiceover as I cut, which I am really realizing, like, a lot more goes through my mind while I cut hair, and later when I do the voiceover, not so much. So I actually feel like it's probably a good thing to do some voiceover sometimes while I'm cutting. And on that last thumb down, that'll be my out. If you guys get a chance on the way out, hit a little thumbs up. Thank you guys for the compliments. Good show. I really appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you guys next week. This is the YouTube Barber Academy. I'm Mr. Eddie Barber, and I'll catch you guys. Peace.